Yo, what's up guys, how's everyone doing? Hope you're all having a fantastic day once again. Guys, so yeah, we've got a very interesting pattern playing out with Bitcoin in the past 24 hours. It's something that I did post both in gold and in VIP, something pretty important which I want to point out. But before I do go into all of that, please let me know if the audio and everything is okay. I think I was just playing that stream there, so yes, let me know if everything's good. I got wrecked on ICX. The new era, sorry, it is unfortunate, but ICX is actually, I've been looking at the chart and it's something I'm gonna go very heavy into probably very soon. I mean, it just looks so appealing at this current price. But onto this analysis, guys. I did point this out in Telegram, but I wanted to outline this a little bit more with some more clarity. Great audio, thank you. Yeah, with some more clarity and really, you know, make it a little bit more obvious, because I was reading through that post and it made, I mean, to me it seemed like I used a lot of very complicated words and sentences, way more complicated than it had to be, and that would have made it quite confusing for new traders, perhaps. So, you know, what we generally see in trends is we get volume confirming the direction of our movement and sort of foreshadowing, I can say, what will happen next. And so what you want to look for is what kind of volume dominates the market within a trend. And right now, if we are in a bearish trend, I can't move this chart at all because these arrows will go out of line. But as you guys will know, actually I can hide these arrows real quick. What we had was, oh, I just ruined it. Okay, yep, I'm gonna have to turn all this back on. Okay, yeah, so what we had was a little bit of a dip here. This was a couple days ago, and then we went sideways again, and then we started what could have been a downtrend. So we topped out at about 8100, and then we went down with a sustained sell-off. How long did it last? Let's check that out. So this sell-off lasted for 16 hours roughly, so it's a pretty long sell-off. I mean, that's not something we can attribute to bots. That was real psychological sort of fear factors involved, potentially, you know, bots instigating it, but on the whole, I think a lot of it was natural movement. What we have had since then was consolidation in a very tight range. I mean, what we've got going on is potentially a continuation pattern, which I did point out as well earlier today in the Telegram channels. Guys, if you're not in the gold channel, the link is in the description below. It is completely free. What I mentioned here is we could potentially be forming either a continuation pattern, which means we're going to go down. You know, if I could draw this out and make it fairly obvious. So we go down, and this is the start of our pattern. We form a continuation pattern, and then we go down again. The reason it's such a vertical line is because I ran out of space on my trackpad. And then we form another continuation pattern, and then down again. And this would bring us down to 6,800, very likely. And, you know, this is just the kind of pattern that we could expect to see play out. But, you know, the difference here is that when we're in a trend like this, what we are seeing and what we want to see is volume confirming that. So we want to see the sell side volume really showing us that the bears are still in control. We want to see a lot of volume, a lot of confirmation from the bears, showing us that they are still very much in power and putting a lot of volume into their shorts to kind of flex their bearishness, shall I say. Jawad pointing out the atrocious statistic there, 300 watching and only 27 likes. Guys, let's smash those likes up, get those a little bit higher, pump them up a little bit. And so what we have seen today, guys, with this trend is it's actually the green volume that's dominating. We've only had 3 orange candles, red candles throughout this trend. Our consolidation has now lasted more than 24 hours, I believe. So yeah, 1 day and 16 hours, and in that time we've seen mostly green candles, and the green volume hasn't been too bad. I mean, especially if we look at this one. This is where we were going fairly low. I think this was actually yesterday when someone said we're dumping in the chat, and then literally, like, you know, a couple minutes later we went up to the 7,600, and so that's where I showed you, you know, the reason you should never panic, you know, that kind of a thing, and not, you know, be emotional in your trades. And you know, we've seen volume debunk this sort of idea that we're still bearish, because what's actually going on is the green volume is what's showing much higher levels. But even more so than that, what's much more important than that is we had a rejection of our $7,700 line. And if you guys have been watching for a couple weeks, what you will know is that when you want to show rejections, show definite confirmations of trends, for example, the confirmation of this trend being bearish would be we get rejected off 7,700, and as you guys know from my previous stream, 7,700, 7,800, this whole $100 range is a very important level for Bitcoin. I mean, it's a very strong resistance, and so obviously we would have expected once we dip below this level to get rejected from this line, just because it's such harsh resistance. We can see even when we drop down to this level, we wick down below and we got saved again. Then we traded for a further 4, potentially 8 hours in this range, maximum 12 hours in this range, battling the $7,700 resistance. We closed with a doji candle, which could be a sign of a reversal, and then we continued to trade in this range for yet another candle, and that really just shows you how powerful this range is. So to see that when we tested this range again and we got rejected, we're looking at this small volume bar here where the blue arrow is pointed, not to the slightly bigger one, I'm talking about the small one here. You can see that we did hit this line. The bulls didn't have power with them. I mean, like I said, the bulls are only going to have power when the FOMO kicks in. Everyone is very emotional right now, and any sense of logic has been thrown right out of the window. You don't have to look further than the BitMEX wrecked Twitter page. And so what we did see is obviously very weak, fragile volume from the bulls, getting smacked down by the bears, but smacked wasn't even the right word. I mean, it was just like a light tap on the shoulder of the bulls, and they fell, and you know, the bears took the price lower. But when you're seeing confirmation, I mean, rejection of such a strong resistance area like this, such an important area for Bitcoin, I would have expected to see a lot more volume on something like that. I mean, this is the price where bears would have wanted to really get their shorts locked in at this range and drive it way lower, because what you want to see is a drop below resistance, then a test again, and then a drop below again. I mean, guys, if I replay this chart real quick, this is, I mean, this is a perfect rising wedge within what could have been a downtrend. So we went down, formed a bear flag, went down again, formed a rising wedge, which is yet again another form of a bear flag. It's a continuation pattern, and so we could have easily went down. And as you guys know, we did go down, but hardly even. I mean, we only, you know, we went down what, $150 max, and then you know, right now we're recovering from that. I'm spending a lot of time on one candle, and usually I don't do this, but it's such a significant thing, which I think shouldn't be ignored in this case. The bears don't seem to have power in this range, which is so weird, and it's not something I expected to see. Now, we did get rejected by our EMA resistance. It did cross bearish, which I pointed out in a previous stream, and of course it is now acting as resistance as a result of that. You guys know how much I love my EMAs, and of course the EMA ribbon can take these arrows off because I have explained that now. The EMA ribbon is also going to be proving to be a bit of resistance. So what we could see right now on the 4-hour EMA ribbon is as we test higher and as we go sideways, what we are going to see is this EMA ribbon continue to fall downwards. And so once this EMA ribbon falls to level something probably a little bit like this, it will become a resistance area for Bitcoin. Of course, as it is right now, and what we could see is Bitcoin testing the EMA ribbon, something like this, and then getting sent down. This is very indicative of a continuation pattern. Of course, the only thing meaning this won't happen is the volume, because if we look at the volume, we have 1, 2, 3 green candles, green volume bars that are stronger, bigger than the red sell-offs, and this is very significant. I mean, this sort of foreshadows the trend we could be seeing. And you know, okay, it's a smaller indicator. It's not as reliable as the general trend. But guys, you always hear me talking about how when you're trading Bitcoin, you need to be looking for the indicators that at the time work really well. And that used to be basic candle patterns. That used to be bull flags, more bull flags, you know, bullish pennants, bull flags. And now it's not. I mean, since we topped out at 8,500, basic candle patterns have not been a useful indicator for Bitcoin. It's just been back to a lot of unpredictability, not something that I'd like to trade in, which is why, as you guys know from my previous streams, I haven't been opening positions in this range. But in light of that, since these basic candle patterns are not as reliable anymore, we have to look for patterns that are more reliable. And guys, right now, without a shadow of a doubt, volume is far more useful with Bitcoin than basic candle patterns. I predicted these drops using volume, this drop over here, for example, various others in smaller time frames. I was looking at the volume, even on the 1 minute charts, 5 minute, 1 hour, which completely breaks my rules of only looking at the larger time frames. But volume has been such a good predictor of Bitcoin's trend as always, but even more so right now. And so since this is showing us a bullish picture, of course it's not great that we have to battle the $7,700 resistance, but we now know that bears don't really even have any power here anyway. And so once the FOMO does kick in, once, you know, ETF news or whatever it is does come out, something to set the bulls off, breaking through these ranges is not going to be very difficult. And so that's why I've been saying Bitcoin hidden signs of strength in the title, guys, because nobody is talking about these patterns right now. They are not very easy to spot. Volume is a very intricate indicator, and it takes a lot of time to learn very well. And so oftentimes what you see is people throwing on a dozen different indicators but not looking at the basic chart. And guys, as we know, it is the basic naked chart that overrules what Bitcoin does. I mean, you can't, you know, take off all these lines and this is it. I mean, you know, we're looking at basic candle patterns. Again, like I said, they're not important anymore. We're looking at a couple trend lines, maybe resistance and support horizontal lines. And apart from that, all we've got with the default chart is the volume. Like I said, this is the most basic chart, and there's a very good reason for it. I mean, this is all you need in a lot of cases to predict movement of the prices. Poor hodler, don't give me that moon time shit. That's hilarious. Yeah, you delete that message. Good on you. I like seeing that regret. Okay, guys, I am ready to go through a couple questions. Just want to take a look at the Ichimoku cloud as well real quick before I do go on to that. We do still have a lot of support in this range, and of course, like I mentioned, we do also have VPVR support. There's a lot of trading action within this range. This is a very tight area and very, very important. As a result, guys, going short in this area, while it may look tempting because you want to call for targets like $4,000, like I always say, it's just not a good idea in my opinion. None of this is financial advice, but I'm just not feeling trading in this range right now. We have a lot of very bullish indicators, a lot of very bearish indicators. We do have this bear flag continuation pattern, like I said, potentially playing out. We do have the EMA resistance above us on the 4 hour. Guys, one look at the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 day as well, and it is starting to become a very concerning image. I mean, this is a very similar pattern to what we saw play out when we topped out at $10,000. I mean, we did trade within this range for a little bit, and then we started to slowly fall down within this Ichimoku cloud, and it looks like we definitely are forming a similar pattern, guys. I mean, either this is one hell of a shakeout to really make people lose faith in Bitcoin so that the whales can accumulate more. I don't believe that stuff, but people will throw those theories around. It is definitely possible. It's not a good, you know, it's not, this is not something I wanted to see, guys. From the beginning, I was always talking about how the Ichimoku cloud is concerning to me. As we traded in this range, it was starting to concern me a little bit less, but those concerns are returning for me right now because it does look like a very typical playing, you know, sort of continuation, I guess, of this Ichimoku cloud. And guys, like I said last stream, it has been an extremely reliable indicator for Bitcoin. If we look at it on the log chart, it bounced up, you know, off Bitcoin. I mean, off the EG cloud, bounced up here from support, bounced from support, bounced from support, bounced from support, and then rejection from support, rejection. And yeah, guys, I mean, this is also a rejection from support, sorry, resistance. And so this can very easily continue down. When we look at a chart like this, when we look at the Ichimoku cloud, it's not bullish at all. That said, you know, when we do zoom out to even longer time frames, we don't even need the Ichi cloud right now because it's so far away. This is a very bullish chart because, like I say, we do have volume increasing. We do have to look at the Bitfinex chart in this case. We do have volume increasing on this trend. You can see that we are starting to get a little, very slight arc up in this volume moving average. If not an arc up, it's just stabilization after declining. And so we are seeing these green volume bars really pick up. And like I said, guys, last stream, we have had on average 15 days of straight green movement. And so having one 3-day period of red movement followed by potentially another one, like I said, would be our best case scenario for the long-term picture. And I do think that it looks pretty good. We need some sort of a retrace before we do continue upwards, especially looking at this chart. If we just had a straight ascension upward, I mean, that would have been quite concerning to me. Guys, when we are ending a bear market and we're going into a new market cycle being a bull market, we do need to see more slow growth, more controlled growth, nothing crazy like we saw back in 2017 2017, where it was just complete parabolic runs. And obviously, if I throw on the log chart, I mean, just straight green movement. This happens when you're in the midst of a bull market, but not when you're recovering from a bear market and entering a new market cycle. So it is good that we are seeing slower growth right now, and if it does hold like this, I will remain bullish as is. Guys, I am ready to go through your questions. Again, I just want to take a quick look at the volume and everything. Today we have seen a slight increase in the volume. Again, this is a sideways day, potentially a little bit of a green day if we look at where the volume is holding. We had this news about OKX, the exchange with I think like $460 million that have been liquidated, but they can't cover that liquidation because of issues on their end. I think it's absolutely pathetic. They should have planned ahead for this kind of thing, and so any blowback they get will be well deserved. They are facing barrel down, if that's the right way to say it. They're looking barrel down, I guess, at a very big problem where if this liquidation issue results in a market dump, OKX will almost definitely lose a lot of their customer base and fall into irrelevance pretty quickly. I think that could result in the dying off of their business. It really can be that serious. So you do have to keep an eye on that. Personally, I don't think it's going to be a very big problem. 460 million is definitely a very large amount of daily trading volume. It is, as someone in VIP pointed out, about 10% of our Bitcoin volume. And so while that's not huge, for one order, that is a pretty big deal. And if the price doesn't climb back up to levels such as $8,000, that will mean that we could see some negative price action. Now, like I said, I mean, personally, this is just news to me. Noise, rather. I don't think it's very important. I'm not giving it a lot of weight. Like I said, any blowback that falls onto OKX, they completely deserve it. They only had 10 Bitcoin in reserve for a situation like this, which is absolutely pathetic. I mean, it's quite embarrassing. I hope they do feel pretty embarrassed with this situation. Down the barrel of a gun. There you go. Thank you. What's the last time I refreshed it? It was just now. Is this out of date? Please tell me it's not out of date. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the same. Actually, one thing to note here, yeah, is we have seen dominance really rise up, and of course, in line with that, alt's not getting a nice treatment, but I always go over that, so no need to do that today. Guys, like I said many times, I am ready to go through your questions now. What minute in discussion was ICX mentioned? Ben, right at the beginning. The bots are in control. I don't think so, but definitely possible on the whole. Yeah, I mean, with this volume, it is, yeah. I don't think they are in control, but they are playing a bigger role in the market right now compared to where we were before. This guy on BitMEX was talking about how he sold his BMW and already lost it all. Keep your head on, boys, or you might lose it. Arsenio, very good point. I mean, if you're going out splashing your gains on cars and all that in a very stupid manner, a lot of what we've seen, it happened to me as well, is people getting a very quick rise up to a lot of money and then not being ready to deal with it emotionally. And so not only do they lose it, they get pretty wrecked on the way down. It happened to me. It was pretty brutal. I was able to fix those issues back in May, which is when my trading career literally made a massive U-turn, and I went back to my all-time high. From May to June, I hit my all-time high, and July is another story. I think we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one later, because July was pretty fun. The MACD weekly shows a change too. Yes, a lot of people talking about that. Unfortunately, I don't use that indicator very much. What your opinion on buying ICX longs at the current price? Maybe wait for low systematic risk. Daniel, ICX, I want to take a look at this coin in particular just today. I don't know what you're talking about in terms of buying, but I mean, look at this blood. I mean, every day I got on stream, every time I got on stream and spoke about ICX, I did mention that it's just going to drop further. And like I said, I did sell all the way up here in this range. I did see this blood coming, and so once we did drop from here, I did mention, we don't have any support left for ICX, and it is going to continue to just rocket downwards. In this case, it is a pretty bloody day. It doesn't matter what the market is doing. ICX has no technical support, and while fundamentally it's pretty sound, this is a situation where there's blood in the streets, and so fear is overruling the market right now, very clearly for ICX as well, guys. I am going to be looking to buy ICX when it goes to sub 1,000 Satoshis levels. Is this 1,000? Sorry, sub 10,000 Satoshis levels. And so that means when we see, 0.00009 XX Satoshis, and maybe average down from there. ICX is I saw some people talking about how its fundamentals are weak. I think this is just talk that you see when price is falling. Price doesn't really dictate the fundamentals, but when the price is lower, you are going to see people shitting on the coins anyway. For example, people who used to love Bitcoin now saying that it has no real world use. You're just going to see it because the price is going down. I think ICX is still a very strong coin. This is one of those moon boy coins, one of the very few that I do have faith in. I'm not an alt trader anymore, but I do still have a bit of a passion for alts, and once it hits this kind of a range, I am going to look to begin buying, depending on the market situation, guys. It is, there are people who are buying at these levels, and they do expect it to run, 10x or whatever, and so it is in these times where you can make the best gains, and you will have to wait for it to pay off, but these are the kinds of plays that made Warren Buffett, I believe is how you say it now, not Buffet. It's people like him, how they made their success in their careers. It's buying blood like this and rising and watching it rise to the top, really. That's how it's done. Bitcoin might be sub-zero in the next few months. That's hilarious, Crypto KO. I think you're unless you're joking, you're exemplifying all the emotional rubber banding I've been talking about for a good while. Exchange owners need the Bitcoin to pump or they will lose their job. Just wait. Yeah, that's actually something I've been thinking about, vParlay. I mean, we've got a lot of exchanges, big businesses, Binance, for example, a lot of other blockchain businesses that really do rely on Bitcoin's price staying high, because if it's not high, it's just gonna, there's not going to be any interest in the space. And so it is definitely possible that either this could mean Bitcoin stays high, or if it doesn't stay high, there's going to be a lot of unemployment. Capitulation in the altcoin market at the moment. Exponential, I don't even think we're there yet. Capitulation, we're talking about very big one candle sell-offs, and I don't think we're there yet. Are you neutral at this moment or a little bullish? Danny, I'm a little bullish. What indication you look for Bitcoin confirmation, either up or down from here? Jan Grabs, I'm going to be looking for Bitcoin to rise above 8,500 for the best confirmation we can possibly have. Aside from that, I want to see it rise above 77, 7,800 for good confirmation of a bull run. I mean, once it's past 77, I will start to look to enter positions again. As for going down, I am going to look to see if 6,800 holds, if 7,200 holds. Probably good to go back on the Bitcoin chart and show you this while I'm talking about it. I am going to be looking to see how 72 and 68 hold. This line here, and 72 I don't have a line for anymore, but it is right where my crosshair horizontal line is. Guys, if we can smash up those likes real quick, I am going to be heading off in just a second. Going to take a couple last questions and then sign off here. I am going to be chilling in the Discord VIP voice chat for a little bit and hang out with members there. I haven't been doing too much of that lately, unfortunately, but like I said, my time has been freed up. What about NEO and XRP? I don't look at Ripple Life as a sketch. NEO is one of my favorite coins, very fundamentally sound. It's just not something I would invest in because it moves a bit too slowly for my liking. I can make more money doing different things. Big ICOs may sell their ETH and short it on BitMEX. Will be interesting. Nick N. I think this ICO selling their ETH thing, if it's not already being done, it won't happen for a long time. I think what we are seeing is very controlled, slow sell-offs of their ETH. People talking about a massive ICO dump of their ETH that they accumulated. I don't think that's a very big deal, personally. How long do you think we'll stay at this level? Hussein, I don't think we're going to be at this level after our weekly close at the very longest, at the very latest, rather. Guys, with that, I am going to be heading off on this stream. Like I said, it is a short one. I mean, it's 25 minutes, still quite long. But, there's not too much to report on. Just this very interesting note about the volume. It is looking like we could be forming some sort of a reversal. My thoughts thoughts on EOS. They've messed up a lot, and that kind of mess up is not something I forgive very easily. So I'm very skeptical of them at the moment. Guys, yeah, with that, I am going to be signing off. If you have enjoyed this stream, please make sure to smash those likes up, subscribe, tick the bell so you don't miss out on any of this content. Join the Telegram channel if you're not already in there. The Gold channel is completely free, and of course, VIP, you guys can hit me up. I've had a lot of great testimonials. I haven't been showing them lately because I just, this is not the time I want to be sharing testimonials for VIP, even though they're still coming in. I just think that right now it is time to focus on accumulating a little bit more knowledge, taking a break from the market, and even though I am still at the charts 24/7, it's just not the time to be a full-time sort of trader for a lot of people. Guys, yeah, with that though, I am going to be signing off. Like I said, if you are interested in VIP, we have a lot of educational content which you can, like I said, accumulating knowledge. VIP is the place to do it. Had I shown you these testimonials, a lot of them lately have been about the things they've learned in VIP for the first month, much more so than the gains. Like I always say, the gains are great, but the learning experience is what makes it worth it, in my opinion. But yeah, with that, I am going to be signing off. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm out. Peace.